Captain Sarah Aylin's breath fogged in the visor of her pressure suit as the frigate Spectre shuddered into real space. The holotank in front of her dimmed from an aurora of swirling translation, echoes to a grainy star field that represented the edge of Manacora sector, a place no human ship had dared to trespass since the Alliance's war ignited 4 years earlier. Out there, beyond the armored bow, was the Imperial Relay Hub, an armored lattice of comma rays and quantum gates that stitched 70 star systems together into a single instantaneous battle space. Every enemy command algorithm, every drone squadron, every cruiser flotilla depended on that lattice the way a body depended on nerves. Cut it, and the armadas of three rival empires would be left groping in the dark. Sarah flexed gloved fingers and steadied her breathing. Her entire crew numbered 18, hardly a mote compared with the millions crewing the fleets poised for tomorrow's decisive campaign. But if Spectre succeeded tonight, those fleets would turn on themselves like beheaded serpents. "Ship is black and coal," reported Lieutenant Yoshio Ortega from the engineering alcove. His whispered words rode a deliberately weak tight beam that never rose above the ambient radiation hiss. "Reactor at 2% trickle, no profile worth the name." Sarah's own voice sounded oddly small inside her helmet. "Copy. Helm, hold us at 60 kilometers. Let their picket sweeps drift past before we glide in." Outside, the relay hub glowed faintly, a web of adamantine spares and blue ion thrusters arrayed around a swollen sphere. Dwarf destroyers patrolled its perimeter in lazy figure eights, projecting overlapping cones of lidar and thermal sweep. Against that vigilance, Spectre showed only as a single speck of cosmic microwave background, her hull lined with metamaterial tiles that bent every band of light and heat. Yet stealth was no guarantee. The Imperial Navy had developed sniffers that tasted minute gravity lensing and subtle variations in Hawking radiation. Given time, they would find the Spectre, cloak or no. So Sarah's plan depended on audacity. Get in close before the net cinched shut, jam a pair of fusion charges into the hub's primary data trunks, then blow them during the coming combined fleet maneuver. Do it right, and every capital ship from here to the Hadean Verge would lose synchrony, turning the enemy coalition into 70 isolated fiefdoms. Do it wrong, and Spectre would end as a flash of X-ray plasma, recorded only by the cold memory of vacuum. The minutes crept. Sarah's console displayed shifting motes, each mote an enemy picket craft. She could almost feel their sensor sweeps brushing the frigate's hull, like searchlights passing over a fugitive's face. "Vector window in 40 seconds, murmured helmsman Imani Rawlings, fingers dancing on the contact screen. "Setting ballistic glide." "All hands," Sarah said, keying the whisper circuit. "We slip now. No active power until my command." Lights aboard the Spectre winked to near darkness. Life support fell to stored reserves. Only the passive grav plating remained, drawing from supercapacitors. The frigate pivoted, thrusters puffing quick microbursts that left no prolonged heat signature, and surrendered to Newton. The relay hub grew. Spars and docking arms resolved into jagged silhouettes. On a normal approach, the hub's transponder would handshake and allocate them a slot. Tonight they sailed like ghosts through the blind spot between patrol orbits, the belly of Spectre scraping the edge of an unlit maintenance plane. Sarah shut one eye and focused on the range number ticking down. 50 kilometers, 30, 20. "Copy that, XO," Sarah said, voice low. "SEAL teams ready?" In the airlock, Commander Anya Cade and 7 insertion specialists waited with breaching packs. Their role was simple: pierce the hub's outer skin, slice into its command lattice, plant the charges, and exfil within 18 minutes. Cade's voice crackled back, steady as ice. "SEALs primed. Still think you should have assigned more than 8. More bodies raise the heat. You know the math." Cade grunted a concession. She understood the arithmetic of stealth war. Every extra heartbeat, every muscle's warmth, was one more chance for thermal bloom to betray them. Spectre crossed into the hub's penumbra, a region where the station's own thermal flares masked exterior readings. Out the viewport, a wide maintenance anchorage gaped like a mouth lined with docking clamps. No lights glimmered. Automated work pods sat dormant in racks. "Helm, match velocity," Sarah ordered. Imani feathered a single puff from the maneuvering jets. The frigate's speed bled away until it hung, a dark barnacle against vault metal. Mag clamps kissed plating. The hull reverberated with a soft click as anchorage latches engaged. They were in. Sarah switched circuits. Boarding party, hull is secured. You're green. The airlock irised. Cade's team emerged into the void, suit lights hooded and emitters throttled to millicandle. They drifted beneath Spectre's keel, micro-tethers reeling them toward the hub's surface. Sarah watched through a hull cam. 8 figures in matte gray skins, each no larger than punctuation against the sprawling structure. Beginning cut, Cade whispered. She affixed a disc of thermite and triggered it. A dime-shaped hole bloomed orange for a heartbeat before vacuum snatched the heat. Within 5 minutes, the breach yawned wide enough to slip through. The team vanished inside. Sarah folded her hands to still their tremor. She had planned covert ops before, but never in the throat of the enemy's nervous system. The risk felt tangible, a pressure behind her ribs. Time stuttered. Seconds elongated as the audio channel filled with the hiss of open mic and the faint tapping of mag boots on latticed walkways. Section Delta 3, Cade reported. Low power state. No personnel yet. Copy, said Sarah. Mark your route. Spectre's AI, Dorian, overlaid a ghost path on the holotank, plotting the boarding team's progress through the relay hub's internal maze. Each node flashed green as Cade tagged it with beacons. Then a red icon bloomed 5 decks starward. Dorian's tone chimed. Thermal bloom detected. Patrol drone, class Falk 7. Range 90 meters, converging. Sarah inhaled. Cade, freeze. Patrol inbound on your plane. Seen, Cade whispered. Deploying chaff and hold. In the video feed, Sarah saw Cade's second, Sergeant Tal Becker, slide a thumbnail-sized pellet along the corridor. It fizzed silently, blooming a cloud of micronized metal to spoof IR. The drone's signature neared, then drifted by, fooled by the false temperature gradient. Sarah exhaled, ribs loosening. Minutes crept again. The boarding team descended into the hub's central spindle where the primary quantum repeaters nestled. Around them, bundles of optical fiber thicker than ancient tree trunks pulsed with light. Orders, navigation fixes, targeting solutions, all the lethal thoughts of war. Planting first core charge, Cade said. A bead of shaped fusion fuel, no bigger than Sarah's palm, sank into a board cavity. Its micro-containment would hold until external detonation command. Charge alpha set, moving to beta. Outside, the enemy pickets kept their vigil, but Spectre's passive arrays drew an increasingly alarming picture. Patrol patterns were shifting subtly, a sign the stealth net's statistical anomaly detectors had drunk enough data to suspect an intruder. Dorian spoke in her ear with calm neutrality. Probability of detection rising, 14% and climbing 1 per minute. Sarah glanced at the chronometer. 10 minutes to window. Cade, double time, she ordered. Our cloak is fraying. Copy, accelerating. Metal clanged in the audio. Boots against ladder rungs, breath panting in suit comms. Then Cade cursed. Contact. 2 technicians, junction 12. No weapons. Sarah's mind raced. If those techs raised an alarm, she restrained herself from barking orders. Cade was senior for a reason. Over the channel came Cade's sharp whisper. Stand down, hands visible. I will not kill unarmed personnel unless forced. Move aside. A scuffle, a muffled grunt. A stunned baton crackled. Silence. Non-lethal, Cade reported. Zip-tied them. Moving on. Sarah allowed relief but no time for guilt. War's arithmetic again. Outside, Dorian's projection showed 3 picket destroyers altering vectors, nose thrusters flashing. Captain, Imani said quietly, those ships are tightening an inner spiral. They'll cross our heat wake in 6 minutes. Understood. Engineering. Prep burst, burn on my mark. If they were sniffed, Spectre would have to lurch to full power, launching from the hub like a blood cell from a heart. That would leave Cade's team stranded, but preserve the mission. The captain's prerogative, one life for many. In the airlock video, the second charge slid home. Beta set, Cade breathed. Exit path green. We are heading back. Make it 5, Sarah replied. The tension wound tighter. The boarding icons crawled along corridors. 50 meters. 40. Outside, the pickets closed. Their sensor fans overlapped into a mesh that cut across Spectre's scoured thermal trail. One destroyer's course line flickered amber. Suspicion. Dorian's voice grew clipped. Detection probability 52%. Sarah swallowed the copper taste in her mouth. Engineering. Warm reactor to alert power. No more. Yoshio acknowledged. Captain, said Amani, if we apply 15-meter per second boost aft, we can drift out of their converging geometry before they finish their sweep. And tear the clamps free, Sarah muttered. The frigate was physically latched. We can quick release, Imani argued. Minimal sound. But Spectre would rotate, exposing hotter hull facets. Risky. Sarah's gut balanced variables. Stand by. Cade's team reached the breach. One by one, suited figures emerged, carabiners clipping onto Spectre's belly. Magnetic winches reeled them home. Inside the hatch, the boarders fell into the corridor, helmets clacking as they tugged free of micro-tethers. All aboard, Cade confirmed. Seal, Sarah ordered. Spectre severed the maglocks to the station. Hydraulic arms retracted. The frigate floated free by mere centimeters. Helm, she said. Give me that 15-meter drift. Amani tapped thrusters. Cold gas hissed. The frigate slid sideways, graceful in vacuum. Almost immediately, one picket destroyer, ID Sig Vex Briar, speared a lighter beam across their prior position. The beam lanced Spectre's old imprint and scattered harmlessly, but the picket's AI flagged the anomaly. Residual gas, heat ghosts, vector displacement. Vex Briar is flashing yellow priority, Dorian noted. Intership comms pivoting toward alert status. Sarah barked. Power main reactor. Helm, plant nose to vector 86. Velocity 200. Engineering, spool spike, drive for jump. Lights surged on the bridge. The metamaterial cloak cracked as Spectre's thermal profile flared. Like a wolf bursting from brush, the frigate roared away, engines gouting plasma. Alarms blossomed from the patrol net. Destroyers pivoted, rail batteries cycling. Beams stabbed the void. Evasive spiral, Amani called, hands jerking the yoke. Spectre rolled on her axis, ventral thrusters strobing. Invisible keening of near-light projectiles scraped past, their electromagnetic wakes tickling shields. The first direct hit came as a glancing blow. Ceramic shards sprang across the dorsal armor. The frigate rocked but held. Shields at 73, Yoshio reported. Sarah slammed the armrest. They had minutes before heavier cruisers under gate drive leapt to intercept. Worse, the hub itself would soon broadcast a sector-wide alert, unless Sarah stole its voice first. Comms, rig the detonation burst. 2-second packet to arming codes. Lieutenant Mara Duer's fingers danced. Ready on your order. Sarah waited, watching distance tick upward. 5 kilometers, 6. She pictured the charges embedded in optical trunks. When they blew, the relay hub's quantum entanglement grid would decohere instantaneously. Repairing would take months. Tonight's battle fleets, scheduled to operate in tight sync 20 hours from now, would have to rely on light-speed transmissions, utterly inadequate across 70 star systems. The Coalition's grand offensive would splinter before it began. At 10 kilometers, Sarah gave the nod. Send it. Mara jabbed the key. A tight beam of coherent neutrino pairs, undetectable by ordinary sensors, knifed back toward the hub. 2 seconds later, return code flashed green. Deep behind them, the night bloomed white. Even hardened viewports polarized to obsidian. Seismic thuds reverberated through emptiness as a blast front of ionized gas and debris blossomed. The relay hub's spherical core fractured, lattice spars snapping like brittle bones. Ion thrusters flared uncontrolled, spinning the carcass. Across space, picket destroyers shuddered as their data links went dark. Command hierarchies collapsed. Targeting meshes collapsed into local autonomy. In Sarah's holotank, enemy icons flickered from tight formations to individual scatterings. They're blind, Yoshio murmured in awe. All of them. Sarah's own systems remained unaffected. Spectre's architecture was entirely internal. She tasted vindication, sharp as ice wine. But celebration could wait. They were still deep in hostile territory, and the enemy, though blinded, was not toothless. Set jump plot, she ordered, voice level. Next waypoint, Vesper Rift. Calculating, Dorian replied. More rail slugs streaked past, fired on dead-reckoned vectors. Without live telemetry, the destroyers were guessing. Still, probability favored random hits over time. Spectre arced into a corkscrew, thrusters blazing. Ahead, the blue well of a microgate yawned. Her own. Human intelligence had pre-positioned the device disguised as space junk weeks prior. Gate handshake green, Amani confirmed. Behind them, a cruiser scarred by debris powered weapons, but majority of its batteries fought phantom targets. Friendly ships misidentified in data confusion. Amani nudged throttle. Spectre surged. The microgate swallowed her in a smear of violet, spit her out 60 light minutes from the carnage. Silence. Bridge lights fell to standard levels. Sarah closed her eyes. A hush settled, broken only by cooling metal pops. Lieutenant Dwyer whispered, "Dispatch from Fleet Command piggybacked on our last neutrino. Operation Blindfold succeeded across all nodes. Other special units confirmed destruction of 9 subordinate relays. Enemy network in total blackout." Cade stepped onto the bridge, helmet under one arm, soot smearing her cheek. "You should see their chatter on open bands," she said. "It's a madhouse. Everyone thinks someone else betrayed them. Saw 2 Allied destroyers firing on each other before we jumped." Sarah opened her eyes. "That'll spread. Without the hub to arbitrate IFF signatures, suspicion becomes doctrine." She rose. Her knees felt water-light. The crew watched, waiting for the speech captains were supposed to give after impossible missions. She thought of those 2 technicians, stunned and zip-tied in the corridor. If they lived, they'd spend the next decade telling the tale of the phantom boarding party who cracked the Empire's heart wide open. "We've bought our people time," she told her crew. "Time to maneuver, negotiate, maybe even to end this damn war. Make no mistake, our part is not done. Command will have new orders soon. Inspector remains the sharpest dagger they have." Faces showed exhaustion and pride. "Stand down from combat alert," Sarah finished. "Maintain stealth posture, and someone get us real coffee, brewed, not synthesized. We deserve a taste of home tonight." Soft laughter rippled. While technicians eased the frigate systems into low-emission mode, Sarah slipped to a quiet alcove beside the viewport. The microgate receded behind them, now programmed to self-destruct. Beyond, the stars looked the same as they always had, cold, remote, impartial. Yet something fundamental had shifted. Across 70 star systems, admirals stared at blank screens. Captains found themselves alone, with choices they'd never trained for. In distant civilian worlds, once statistics and grand strategy models suddenly lay outside the line of fire. All because one stealth frigate and 18 stubborn souls had slipped a noose and cut a wire. Sarah let that truth settle, heavy and bittersweet. War was never won by a single stroke. But sometimes, she thought, history hinged on moments extreme and precise. The flick of a detonator, the hush of a breath held in starlight. She pressed her palm to the viewport's chill glass, feeling for an instant the infinite drift beneath her skin, the shape of fate turning. Then she squared her shoulders and headed back toward the bridge. There would be debriefs, new orders, and soon another jump into darkness. But tonight, for this one stretch of star-spec silence, Captain Sarah Aylin allowed herself to breathe as though tomorrow might hold peace.